will defend ourselves and respond with great force against those who harm us. The State of Israel will not stand idly by. We will continue to defend ourselves.
Typical Israeli, try not to have a British accent, challenge impossible.
The world must support Israel at this time and demand Hezbollah's compliance with the Security Council Resolution 1701 by ceasing its attacks, withdrawing to the north of the Litani River, and disarming. We, on our side,
I said Israel chode, you saw that? Iran having nukes actually makes the world safer.
The Ayatollahs in Iran are formulating strategies to wipe Israel and the Jewish people from the face of the earth. They
Look at
continue
this
to
guy.
provide millions of dollars in weapons.
Who is him? Who is he? Who is him? I like this guy. He's like, I ain't fucking putting up with your bullshit. State of Palestine right next to him.
While they strangle world shipping routes.
Yes, they strangle world shipping routes while we commit our genocide. They disrupted the global economy. It's hurting our feelings. What about our commercial profit? This is only going to make me butcher more babies.
Attacks against Israel since the October 7th massacre. The truth is that Hamas, Hezbollah and the Houthis are the poisonous tip of Iran's spear, which is being held against the world's throat.
That's big if true, Israel. That is big if true.
Where are the condemnations of Hamas and their vile attack on October?
Why have we have not condemned Hamas enough? We must condemn more Hamas. Not enough Hamas condemning happening yet.
Members of the council feign concern for regional escalation, yet quake at the prospect of addressing the root of this escalation.
I mean, is it not so obvious to see? He's just hating the entire council, right? How disrespectful.
I wish to cast your minds back for a moment to May 2nd, 2011. Then Secretary General...
No, we can't go... 2011? Time started on October 7th, 2023.
Ban Ki-moon celebrated the termination of Osama bin Laden, describing it as a watershed moment in our common global fight against terrorism. He exclaims his relief at the news that justice has been done to such a mastermind of international terrorism. Please, take a moment to reflect on this reaction just 13 years ago.
Yes, you guys condemned bin Laden, and why don't you condemn Hamas? Hamas and bin Laden are same.
And contrast it with the UN's condemnations today. Ask yourselves what you believe is the reason for this drastic shift. The only conclusion we may reach is that because it is now Israel that is facing barbaric Iranian terror and taking necessary action to protect its citizens, that the UN takes issue.
What a cope. You're so coping right now. How desperate are you?
Iran is not merely a sponsor of terrorism, it is the very engine driving the machinery of death and destruction that threatens us all.
The very machinery that drives the death and destruction that threatens us all. The death and destruction. That's interesting. Israel, of all countries, used the phrase death and destruction and wants to talk about decades ago, because it was actually Amnesty International's report on Operation Cast Lead in 2009, perpetrated by Israel, one of its most awful war crimes. Let's see, what did they call that report? Oh, that's right. Amnesty International, the very credible and highly respected human rights organization, called Israel's operation 22 days of death and destruction. Why is there no report about Iran called 22 days of death and destruction? Or what about the next one, 51 days of death and destruction, as we saw in Operation Protective Edge in 2014? Very interesting, right? Gee, it's almost as if Israel is guilty of all the things it accuses Iran of doing.
The blood of innocent children in Majd al-Shams and of the victims of the October 7th massacre and all...
Right, which you are guilty of.
All other victims since then. The ceaseless rocket fire on Israeli towns, the ongoing plight of the 115 hostages still being held by Hamas tomorrow for 300 days.
Doesn't it look like he's about to explode right here? Look at him. He's not happy. And you know what? I'm not happy either, because there is not a fucking backbone in this room that's gonna stand up to these genocidal psychopaths. And we're gonna all have this little meeting, we're gonna say our words, and we're gonna go back home, and it's gonna be onward and onward with the onslaught.
Trace back to Tehran's ruthless ambitions. We urge the international community to hold the Islamic Republic accountable for its crimes. The world cannot afford to cower before the Ayatollah's tyranny.
Look at him,
We
he's just
therefore
like, oh
demand
my
that this
God.
council moves to condemn Iran for its continued support of regional terrorism and increase its sanctions.
States in the region, the suffering of our brothers in the Gaza Strip.
Just on his phone.
Two.
It's like the adult equivalent of putting your fingers in your ears and going, nah, 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 I don't hear you. So much toilet paper in this chat. You see the chat?
Stayed silent and have not called for accountability.
Did you see my comment? You brought the toilet paper in, stuck to your shoe. Let's go Lebanon. This guy is rizzed the fuck up. This guy's got the riz.
The objective is to drag Israel's allies into a regional war with disastrous consequences on peoples and countries and on the future.
This motherfucker is spitting. He's just texting away. Look at him.
For the past 10 months.
Completely unconcerned. He's probably checking his Coinbase. Vile, putrid filth of humanity, Israel. Look at this. They're just all on their phone. Look at this. Just God's chosen people. The Israeli delegation. God's chosen people. Look, not a care in the world. Not a cell phone. I'm sorry. There's a lot of phones, actually. Nothing like being incriminated on the world stage for your ongoing genocide. Just balls deep in your cell phone. Not a care in the world. Because you're God's chosen people. Let's be honest, okay? Yeah, they're group chatting each other. What do you guys want for lunch after this? Where are we going? Secretary General of the UN, we know you're impotent. We know you can't do anything. Your paralysis, as the Lebanese delegate characterized it as, but it is your impotence that has shaken our faith. Your impotence has shaken our faith that you can handle this. It is time to amend your ways. You must adopt some other measure by which to control, tame, muzzle this aggressor named Israel before it is too late. Yeah, we should be thankful for Gaza. It shows you who is controlled opposition and who is legit. That's right. If you're legit, there's no way you support Israel, simple as. I know it's a very good revealer, reflector of the entire world itself. The entire contradiction in the world is reflected in the Gaza Strip right now. And they say that with merit, I think that the only place that Israel doesn't occupy is the Gaza Strip because it's being violently resisted. Gaza is the only place where Israel is being violently resisted. There's some truth in that.
Nixon ordered Cambodian genocide. Clinton sent cruise missiles to Sudan, people died. Gave the orders to do drone strikes.